Sarah's life had been a story of love, loss, and resilience. When Ben, her adoring husband of 2 years, went missing 12 years ago, her world shattered. Their love had been the kind of romance that people dream of. When he disappeared, presumed dead after a mysterious kidnapping, it left a gaping hole in her heart. The police concluded that Ben had likely been the victim of a kidnapping gone wrong. A ransom demand had come in, a staggering amount, and though Sarah had scraped together every penny to pay it, there had been no further contact, no body, no closure. Over the years, Sarah rebuilt her life with sheer determination. At 43, she had achieved what most could only dream of. She was the new CEO of Bex Bank. She focused on their daughter Jane, who was just a baby at the time of Ben's disappearance. Jane grew into a bright, inquisitive teenager, a source of joy for Sarah, despite the haunting absence of her father. Sarah managed to carve out a life filled with hard-earned peace, until the day Ben walked through her front door. It happened on a rainy Tuesday evening. Sarah had finished eating dinner when she heard the knock. She wasn't expecting anyone, and Jane was out of a friend's house. When she opened the door, she froze. There he was, Ben. Older, thinner, with streaks of grey in his hair, but unmistakably Ben. Her knees buckled, and she gripped the door frame for support. "Sarah, it's me," he said softly, his voice trembling. For a moment, she couldn't speak. The world tilted around her, and her heart raced in a confusing storm of shock, relief, and anger. "Ben," she finally managed. "How? Where have you been? They said you were dead." He stepped closer, his eyes filled with tears. "I don't remember. I woke up 3 days ago in a hospital in Calabar. They told me I had been found wandering. I've been trying to piece things together, but I had to come home. To you. To Jane." Her head spun as she tried to process his words. 12 years of questions bubbled to the surface, but she couldn't find the words. Instead, she stepped aside and let him in. When Sarah met Ben all those years ago, he had claimed he had no family. He told her he had grown up in an orphanage that had since shut down. There was no way to trace his past, he said, and no records remained. At the time, Sarah had believed him. After all, their love had been undeniable, and his attentiveness and kindness seemed proof of his sincerity. Now, Ben's return turned Sarah's life upside down. Jane was skeptical at first, but soon warmed to the idea of having her father back. The community buzzed with the miraculous story of the man who had returned from the dead, and for a while, Sarah let herself believe in miracles. Ben was as sweet and helpful as she remembered, easing back into their lives with the same charm that had made her fall in love with him years ago. He cooked her favorite meals, played chess with Jane, and left little notes around the house to make her smile. But again, something felt off. Ben claimed he had no memory of the past 12 years, no explanation for where he had been, how he had survived, or why he had suddenly reappeared. As much as she wanted to believe him, small inconsistencies in his story gnawed at her. A fleeting shadow of calculation in his eyes made her uneasy, but she brushed it aside, convincing herself that love deserved the benefit of the doubt. A few months passed, and Sarah began to relax, allowing herself to rediscover the joy of being with Ben. They started to rekindle the romance they once shared. One afternoon, while shopping at the mall, Sarah's unease deepened. She spotted a young girl about 8 years old, with striking brown eyes and thick curly black hair, a mirror image of Jane at that age. Sarah couldn't stop staring. The girl's mother noticed and smiled politely. "She looks familiar, doesn't she?" the woman said. Sarah nodded, unable to tear her eyes away. "She reminds me of my daughter when she was little," she admitted. "What's her name?" "Lila," the woman replied. "She's my miracle baby. Her father passed away years ago. It's just the two of us now." Sarah's breath caught as she kept staring at the little girl. "What was his name?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "James," the woman said. "James Odera." "Look! Lila looks just like him." She shows Sarah a picture of her late husband on her phone. "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," Sarah said with a smile before walking away, wondering why she felt relief. Weeks later, Sarah was rearranging her wardrobe when she found a hotel receipt in Ben's shirt pocket. She froze. The receipt was from a hotel across town, dated just 2 days ago. Curiosity burned within her. Was he cheating? She thought. She decided to visit the hotel, pretending Ben had left something behind. "Good afternoon," she said to the receptionist, handing the receipt to her. "My husband stayed here recently. He left an important file in the room. Could you check if it's been found?" The receptionist nodded and checked the system. "Ah, yes, Mr. James Odera, room 302. Let me call housekeeping to check." Sarah's stomach churned. James Odera? It occurred to her that she hadn't noticed the name was stated on the receipt. Sarah's mind raced. Isn't that the name of the late husband of the lady she met at the mall? Why does Ben have a hotel receipt in someone else's name? Could it be a coincidence, or was there something far darker at play? She did not have a picture of Ben on her phone, but the receptionist's description of James Odera was same as Ben. Her head spun as she left the hotel. She thought to confront him when he returned, but later decided against it till she obtains more information. That night, while Ben was asleep, Sarah took a picture of him with her phone. He had always been adamant about not having his picture taken, claiming he hated how he looked in photos. Plus, he hated social media. Now his aversion seemed suspicious. Fueled by a growing sense of dread, Sarah decided to post the photo on social media with the caption, "My long-lost husband is back from the dead. Miraculously returned after 12 years with no memories. Does anyone have any information about him?" The post went viral within hours. Messages flooded in from strangers claiming to recognize Ben. One woman sent a message saying, "He married me and disappeared with my money and properties." Another wrote, "He conned my sister, be careful." As the revelations piled up, Sarah's world crumbled. She realized she was living with a man who had spent over a decade preying on women like her. It all now made sense. Her appointment as the new CEO of Bex Bank is the reason for his return. Terrified, she contacted the police, providing them with all the evidence she had gathered. When Ben discovered the social media post, he was furious. "Why would you do that?" he shouted, his face contorted with rage. "You had no right." Sarah stood her ground. "I had every right, Ben, or is it James?" He advanced towards her, his voice low and menacing. "You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Take it down, now." "No," she said firmly. "It's over. The police know everything." Suddenly, he grabbed the kitchen knife. "You should have left it alone, Sarah." Panic surged through her, but she refused to show fear. "Ben, put the knife down. You don't want to do this." He stepped closer, the blade glinting in the light. "You've ruined everything," he shouted. Just as he raised the knife, the distant sound of sirens filled the air. Ben froze, his eyes darting widely. He glanced towards the back door, and in an instant he bolted. Sarah screamed as he slipped through the back, jumping over the fence and vanishing before the police arrived. Despite an extensive manhunt, Ben was never caught. In the weeks that followed, the full extent of Ben's crimes came to light. He was married to the woman Sarah met at the mall. They had 3 children together, Lila being the last. Together, they preyed on wealthy, successful women, conning them out of their money before disappearing. The woman helps him identify potential victims. It now made sense. She must have recognized me, reason she showed me the wrong picture to knock off my suspicion, Sarah thought. Thankfully, she was arrested, but Ben was nowhere to be found. Sarah shared her story on national television, becoming a beacon of hope for other victims. For her, the journey was far from over, but as she looked to the future, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like and don't forget to subscribe to support our channel.